I think that if you're burning out, that it's your own fault because you don't know yourself. You don't know your limits. You don't know what you're getting into, and you find yourself in over your head. And when I say it's a crock of shit, I'm saying you're not holding yourself accountable.
I know this year it would be the year of your retirement from Chrysler, right? I think it's the time to compare the apples to apples for your journey. Do you regret starting this business, or if you come back in time, you wouldn't start it?
You're gonna have to cut out some people in your life that right now you think they mean something to you. You think they are a value add to your life. You understand the difference between positive energy and negative energy and how it affects your existence. Get control of your emotions and do everything you can to make emotionless decisions, because generally it's those emotions that lead you to making bad decisions that set you back.
The quality of life for you is people and health. What else can define the quality of life?
Freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it. The only people that can lead this group are people that are respected and deserve to lead this group. I very much care about social media when it comes to business development and growth. And I see zero value in social media when it comes to living my personal life. More specifically, I think social media is a detractor from experiencing happiness in real life. How are you?
I'm doing good. I want to thank you for this opportunity, for letting me join the interviews. And I do really appreciate this opportunity, and I appreciate your time very much. Thanks.
Alaa, you're fine. I mean, it's like we don't, ebbs and flows. That there are times where we're able to interact quite a bit, and then there are times where it's so
yeah, I understand that.
It's been this has just been a crazy year. That's, of course, not that the year previous wasn't a crazy year or the year previous. We're dealing with moments in time that if you'd have told me any of this shit was going to happen 10 years ago, I would have just fell off a chair laughing at you. This is just, well, around here we call it fuckery. Okay, that's because it's not right, and it's so much ridiculousness that, yeah, it's just crazy.
Can I ask you why this year is special, crazier more than the others?
The thing is I think this year has been a lot of taking previous lessons learned and trying to pull everybody back together with applying the lessons learned from previous years. There was a lot of people, including myself, made decisions with feelings being a factor, and 9 times out of 10 emotional decisions are wrong. And I think, yeah, you know what? Maybe I better not speak for other people. I feel like, there we go with the feelings thing. I have a tendency to lead towards fuck your feelings. Let's talk about what logically makes sense. That doesn't mean that I don't have feelings, and that doesn't mean that my emotions don't affect my decisions. And the last couple years has been a get control of your emotions and do everything you can to make emotionless decisions, because generally it's those emotions that lead you to making bad decisions that set you back. So I don't think that we've had any self-inflicted pains that have caused setback this year. It has been about dealing with the puzzle that is and putting it back together to the best of our ability. Yeah, so many mistakes and so many decisions made. I mean, the whole making the decision to save Vickers has been a huge undertaking. I can look back and just wish I would have never bought Vickers and wished that I never gotten involved with Vickers on multiple fronts, because the people that were involved in Vickers were trash. Like I now know why the guy had a massive heart attack. He was dealing with garbage people. I've done everything I can to put it back together and actually get it going, moving in the right direction. I just know that it's hurt the bank accounts. It's hurt emotional well-being. And it has taken a lot of time, attention, and focus off of what we're supposed to be doing, which is building Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies and moving the franchising forward.
So I think you bought Vickers like 3 years or 3 years, right?
Yeah, we're working on 3 years now.
So for you, like 19 years in business, why it takes so long to fix Vickers? Why you didn't fix it right away when you just put it?
Okay, so, well, number one, the difference between Vickers and Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies is if I saw a problem, I could step up and fix it myself. If I saw a problem employee, I could throw them out and do the work myself and retrain other individuals, where somebody doing a job, I would step in and tell them to leave and do the job and then retrain somebody better and then retract myself back out. I wasn't able to do that at Vickers because I didn't know anything about the functional operation of the business, which means when I saw a shitty employee, I had to tolerate them until I could strategically put somebody else in place to start getting them trained so that the customer base wasn't affected. And like, I'll look up at the dude and be like he tolerated horrible employees. They were there just to suck off of him and see how little they could do and how much they could suck off of him and how much they could stress him out. They all of them were literally there to lie to him and steal from him. And then I took that over and had to slowly work the process of getting rid of those people and getting good people in there that actually cared and actually wanted to earn their paycheck. Because I knew I couldn't get in there and do it myself. If I took the time to focus on how to functionally run that business, well, then I would be taking my eyes completely off of Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies, and that was just never an option.
I know this year is the year of it would be the year of your retirement from Chrysler, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's the time to compare the apples to apples for your journey. And I saw your post about that, but I didn't get it as much as I wanted. So maybe it's a chance to listen more from you about it. Do you regret starting this business? Or if you come back in time, you wouldn't start it?
I don't regret it, Alaa, because I don't want to live in regret. That's a miserable space to mentally be in. But I can honestly look back and say, knowing what I know now, I wish that I had never left Chrysler. I wish that I had never started the business. When I left Chrysler, I had just went through the hardest 3-year period of my entire life. And it was like jumping out of the fire and into the frying pan. I threw myself into something that was exponentially harder, thinking that I had just went through the hardest thing in my life and that nothing could be harder than what I had already survived. And I found out that there is harder. It's there has been a lot of gratifying things that has come with this journey. There has been a lot of wisdom. There has been a personal development journey that I am a better man today. But everything has a price. The price is not worth it. That's what I've been trying to elaborate to get people to understand. They look at a successful entrepreneur and they envy it because they want the money. And that's all it's about. If they knew the individual, they don't want their life. They don't want their pain. They don't want their sacrifice. They just want the money. They don't know what the individual went through to get to a point of saying, I survived all of this. And the benefit was I got a little bit more money in the bank than most everybody else. But the pain of it, the sacrifices, the time lost, and time is more valuable than money, it's not worth it. In the same sentence, part of the reason that I am here is because of what is between my ears. That's not a compliment. I have a storm that rages in my head 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anybody would get into my head, and after 5 minutes, they would be like, yeah, if you have to deal with that 24/7, that's not worth the money. But nobody can jump into somebody's head and literally live there for 5 minutes to get a glimpse of what that individual lives with on a regular basis. It's that everybody has gifts, everybody has talents, and out of them, you're like those starving artists. People can be creative, and they're able to paint a picture, and they're able to create beauty. So you envy that, but it's what's going on inside of their head, and then likely they die, and then the painting is worth a bunch of money.
Yeah, but what I didn't get about that is you created a successful business at end, and after all of these sacrifices, you created it worth it right now. Do you think it's not worth it?
It's not that it's not worth it right now. It's just that I'm trying to be honest that when we're talking about it, what's more precious than money? Time. Why did I leave Chrysler? I wanted freedom. I should have retired from Chrysler in September. I didn't gain freedom faster, so I didn't gain any more time by going down the entrepreneurial path. I lost time going down the entrepreneurial path. I lost my family going down the entrepreneurial path. The only thing that I gained was a little bit more money in the bank. And I'm just trying to be honest, because 99 out of 100 don't even gain the more money in the bank. They fail. They lose the time. They lose all of their money. They gain all of the stress and all of the sacrifices and all of the scars. They likely drag their family through the entire thing, and they don't even get to a point of having a little bit of extra money in the bank. And I can look at this and say, I sacrificed my 30s and my 40s, what are supposed to be, as a man, your most healthiest, virile years.
But at this time, you needed something to be busy of, right?
Yeah.
So you don't think that these moments of your life was worth it, worth your time to think of something?
I think that people can argue that there were healthier things that I could have done, and I'm not going to disagree with them, because it doesn't matter. Today I'm just trying to be introspective and honest with anybody else that's listening to this, because I'm a realist. I'm not an idealist, and I'm not a pom-poms, rah-rah, cheer people on. That's like encouraging people to step up to the edge of the cliff and step off. That's not me. Like, I'm trying to be a realist, and either I'm going to save somebody else the pain, or I'm going to make sure that they're going into their journey with eyes wide open, because if they're listening to me, at least somebody is telling them, you're getting ready to go on a path that has a 99% failure rate. You're getting ready to purposely cause yourself pain. You're getting ready to put yourself in a position where you will have to sacrifice something. You are going to find yourself in a place where you are going to have to make an A or B decision, and both of those, A and B, are going to have deep meaning for you, and you're going to have to give one of them up, and it's not just going to be one time. I want to be honest with people, because I don't believe there's enough honesty about the entrepreneurial journey on the internet. I think that they are too busy hyping people up because they want to extract money out of them in one form or another, for coaching or for video services or for some type of marketing to encourage you to live your best life and chase your dreams. And in entrepreneurship, the vast majority of dreams turn into real nightmares. The system truly is stacked against you. Every rule or law that you have ever known to be true does not work that way as an entrepreneur, because you go from being an employee dealing with your employer that is dealing with the government, to removing the middleman out, and there's no longer an employer, and now you're directly dealing with the government, and everything that you think you know about life doesn't exist when you have to start dealing directly with the government, because they don't have to play by the same rules or the same laws that you've grown up knowing to be true, because they wrote those laws and they exempted themselves from them.
This can come to a saying. You are saying it many times. Quality of life is more important than life itself. How do you think anyone can live a quality of life while he have all of these businesses working 7 days a week and have a storm in his brain? How do you live a quality of life with all of this?
Today I have gotten very stingy with my time and very protective of my energy, because I know that if I let the wrong person around me, they will waste my time and drain my energy. It took me a lot of years to get to those hard truths. And I remember telling somebody else in an interview that one of the biggest realizations that came true that I thought was crazy in the beginning was that in order to be successful, not just in business, but in life in general, you're going to have to cut out some people in your life that right now you think they mean something to you. You think they are a value add to your life. Sooner or later, you're going to have to remove somebody from your life, because as you grow, you realize the difference between the victim mentality and somebody that holds themselves highly accountable for their actions. You understand the difference between positive energy and negative energy and how it affects your existence. This was the learning journey that I had to go on to get myself to a place to say mental and physical health are more important to me than money. And if I make good business decisions, the money will come, but I need to make sure that I'm not mentally or physically going to break in the process, because too many entrepreneurs mentally or physically break themselves to get to success. And then they end up spending all of their money on their health because they let their health deteriorate as they were going through the process.
So, yeah, the quality of life for you is people and health. What else can define the quality of life?
Freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And that can be as simple as being able to walk down the street and just enjoy the sun on my face and breathing fresh air. And I'm saying that because my father can't do that. It's a cane or a walker, and he can only walk 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet before he has to sit down and rest. The physical health was not a high enough priority for him in his 40s, 50s, and 60s, and he's paying that price in his 70s. The deterioration of the physical health has further led to the deterioration of his mental health. They go with each other. If you have bad mental health, it's hard to focus on keeping up good physical health. If you have bad physical health, it's hard to focus on developing good mental health. That they go hand in hand, and that doesn't have anything to do with entrepreneurship, but it has a lot to do with quality of life. And yes, I know I completely go against the grain. Everybody naturally thinks what is important is that I wake up, and what is important is that I'm breathing. And I say, fuck that. If I can't walk down the street, if I can't breathe easily, what the hell's the point of existing just for the sake of existing? No, if I cannot have good quality of life, I don't have a desire to draw air. And I understand that a lot of people, they get a hard time reconciling that statement. You lose a son at 8 years old, and you start, and your perspective changes across the board. It makes you question. I mean, at this point, I don't even question the importance of legacy, because I don't give a shit about legacy, because your life can be taken from you in the flash of an eye, and those that love you most will remember you for a couple days. I see no point in legacy, and mentally my brain started trying to get to what was important and getting to those types of conclusions after I lost my son. And everything is about framing, and that is the sooner or later I'm tattooing a watch on my arm or on my wrist, and the time is just going to say now. And it's just a reminder that what is most important is the present time.
I know some of your story, and I know that you worked hard for this business, and you lived 6 years in the business place. It was hard times, but I want to know, what is your most moment you are proud of since you opened your business that made you feel like everything I did is worth it, or it worked?
I think the easiest way to answer that is that I can't really answer that in the way that you're framing it. Because the answer is very similar to, everybody thinks that there's this big sacrifice that you have to make in entrepreneurship, and it's not a big sacrifice. It's 1,000 small sacrifices that lead up to a really big sacrifice in totality. And the same way, where do I find gratitude in the business? There's not this one big moment that I was proud of. It has been many small moments of people showing me gratitude for my presence in their life, for customers that are loyal customers and grateful that we exist so that they can be loyal customers because they have no desire to show loyalty to the competition. And to a certain, that's the thing, is that had I stayed at Chrysler, I don't know that I would have. My personal development journey was not initially by choice, it was by force, because it was realizing the definition of insanity. You keep beating your head against the wall and it's harder than your head, and you keep expecting a different result. And you know that there are other people that have been able to successfully make business work, and you're not doing something right. So it forced me to go searching for information so that I desperately could get what I wanted, which was a different, better result. It was once I got to the point of asking good enough questions to get good answers that the aha moment came to me that my overall mental health will benefit by staying on a personal development and learning journey for the rest of my life, no matter what happens in my personal life or in business.
Yeah, that comes to every person in the world has time that he burn out, feel like he burned out. How do you avoid this burning out? Also give the business more when you feel that.
I'm probably going to make somebody mad when I say this. I think burnout is a crock of shit. I think that if you're burning out, that it's your own fault because you don't know yourself. You don't know your limits. You don't know what you're getting into, and you find yourself in over your head. And when I say it's a crock of shit, I'm saying you're not holding yourself accountable. Over the years, I have pushed my limits, found what I thought were potential breaking points and limits, which told me that I needed to slow my roll for a minute to gain my composure, to make sure that I didn't break myself, that I didn't burn out. But when I say it's a crock of shit, I'm like, if you truly buy into burnout, probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur. Because the only reason that I enjoy any type of success in business is because I don't want to understand the definition of quit. I do not have quit in me. So burnout is a freaking luxury. Every day was get up and take a step forward and do what's necessary. Don't feel like it. Oh, fuck your feelings. You decided to go down this entrepreneurial journey. Get up and take a step forward and try and fix something. I never believed in quitting. I never had any intention of quitting. Burnout was never an option. Now, I'm not going to say that I didn't have breaking points. I'm not going to say that I didn't have minutes and moments, but burnout is quitting and then blaming the failure on, oh, I burned out. That's it. I think it's a cop out. I think it's a crock of shit. I think it's victim mentality. And had I attached onto that victim mentality and bought into that shit, I would have quit 1,000 times. Yeah. You should know yourself. You should know your limits to know when you need to take a break. And I'm not going to, I'm not saying that I didn't come up on breaking points. And at the end of the day, once everything necessary had been done, I swam in a bottle. I got shit-faced drunk to the point of passing out because I just needed to mentally detach from reality because of all of the pressure that was going on in the moment. But then I woke up the next day and I re-engaged. There was never a 2-day period of, oh, is he going to snap out of this? No, it didn't matter what I did that night to detach from reality. The next day I got back and re-engaged in reality. And I think that that's the difference. Alaa, how long have you worked for me?
I have been working for 3 years and 4 months.
That's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we have both learned a lot and come a long way.
Honestly, sir, I'm saying the truth because I have worked on your footage for hours, and I think I have learned from you more than I would ever learn in like 20 years if I experienced anything. It's like a course that I'm taking every day. And I do really appreciate it very much, and it gives me a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom. Maybe it will in the future will avoid me to do the same mistakes you always talking about, to learn from you. And for 3 years, from the first day I worked here and I knew your story, I believed in you and I believed in the business and I believed in the team we are working with. Always feel like at home and family. I know it's a business, but there is a family environment here. We support each other and always moving each other to do good job.
When we did these interviews, it was Trish brought it up, and I was like, "No, that I think that doing this interview with you would be great." It's funny that, well, and you'll see it when you see the footage from Vickers. And I'll be candid, it was my least favorite interview. They did it as a group. They asked a bunch of funny, quirky questions. There wasn't a lot. There was a little bit of depth and insightful. Like you could tell that they put thoughts into questions. But when I really don't have a whole lot of joy being asked if I could have any superpower. What would it be? If I could be any Superman character, what would it be? I'm like there. I didn't see a lot of depth in that. But one of the girls asked me where I saw myself in 10 years. And I told her that I could see myself engaging in entrepreneurial education, which then led to, well, how much would you charge? And they were like, how much would you charge by the hour? And I said, I don't want to answer that. I'll just say a lot. And they were like, what, $100 an hour? $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour. And I was like, a lot. And I got weird looks and I was like, I am not one of those mindset coaches. Like I can direct people towards proper literature and good mindset. But the type of coaching that I'm interested in is the tactical coaching for showing somebody how to start with $1 and get to $1 million. So if I can save somebody thousands and save somebody tens of thousands and save somebody hundreds of thousands, how much is my time worth? If I can help somebody shortcut the journey and move them to making tens and hundreds and millions of dollars, how much is that worth? And they were like, they started to see where I was coming from when I said I would charge a lot. We've touched on this, I don't know, a year or two ago, but you're the one person that you see every bit of raw footage that is recorded. So, yes, it would make sense that you are absorbing more than virtually anybody else I don't know how much money I'll save you in life, but by listening to my story, yes, I would hope that you would be an example of somebody that is always working towards great mental and physical health, and that you would stand out in your community as somebody that was doing very well for themselves. Because yes, you're listening to everything that I've got, and I don't believe in being fake. And your job is to cut out some of the things that I say that probably shouldn't be getting posted on the internet, but you hear them nonetheless. And it is raw honesty. I wish my son heard as much out of me as you have heard out of me in the last 3 years, because I'm not going to give it to him. I'm not going to make it easy for him. I take this serious as a heart attack. And I'm like, the only people that can lead this group are people that are respected and deserve to lead this group. And that's the thing with my son, is that that there is so much more that I will need to see out of him before he could ever be in any type of leadership position, because I would never subject this group to a leader that had not earned their ability to be in that position.
Yeah. Talking about the leaders in your group, also talking about what you are giving us from coaching and teaching. What is the most valuable thing you have learned from your team or from a certain employee?
What is the most valuable thing that I've learned from them? I can probably just summarize it in the word perspective. It's like, you can learn something from anyone in any situation at any age. But the reality is, I'm older than most everybody in the group. I am the one trying to live and lead by example, by purposely putting myself on a learning journey, by purposely taking on and putting challenges in front of myself so that I always know what I'm made of. And I do that for my own personal benefit, but I do it publicly in my group in hopes that that will wear off on them. So I don't know that I can literally say I have learned lessons from my team. I've learned lessons of how to get the best result and how to not get the best result by interacting with my team. But when I'm steering the ship, I'm like, the most valuable thing that everybody brings to the table individually is their perspective, because that perspective is what lets me know where everybody stands, and is my message getting through? Because if my message is getting through, I will see it and hear it in their perspective and in their actions. But I think a lot of them are still very much developing and growing and figuring out how to mentor and coach the people that are coming up underneath them.
It's a great answer, because perspective, and you listen to it. I have other question, but it's about the social media. I have heard from you at one of the interviews that you don't care about it. Why you don't care about it? And we are looking forward to sell the franchise for Pizza Junkies and Coffee Junkies, and the social media is the most powerful tool that could achieve this. So why you don't care about it, and how do you want to sell your franchise if you don't care about the social media and marketing?
It's a fair question. So let me clarify, because it was odd. Like, my ex-wife was part of the interviews yesterday, and she floored me. She came with a serious question that she said, "You're so confident. Can you tell me what your insecurities are?" And I was like, after thinking about it for a second, I was like, My fear is that I'm not going to be enough, that I'm not enough. And then later on, I peeled away from that and I started thinking about it. And it was my fear in business as an entrepreneur is that I'm not enough, that I'm not going to be good enough for what is demanded and needed in order to build this business and lead this team. On a personal level, my fear is that I'm too much and I'll never find a woman and truly have happiness and bliss in my personal life because I'm too much. And what I'm getting at by your question is that I care about social media when it comes to business. I could give a fuck less about social media when it comes to my personal life. Social media is fake ass bullshit, and it has nothing to do with living a real life in reality. I have no desire to live my life in a virtual world. So it's a fair line. It's a fair question for you to ask, and it's a fair line to draw for me to make the distinction. We're doing this because I thought that this was a good way to further develop our relationship and personally connect. But all things being equal, I would rather be sitting across the table from you having a regular conversation. We're putting it on camera because I've got comfortable with the camera because I've recognized that social media is a necessity for being in business. So, no, I very much care about social media when it comes to business development and growth. And I see zero value in social media when it comes to living my personal life. More specifically, I think social media is a detractor from experiencing happiness in real life.
That's true.
But I'm glad you asked the question. I'm right because I don't want you to think that I am minimizing social media or that I'm trying to pull away from it. If I am pulling away from social media, it is more along the lines of the podcast, and it is specifically because I do not want to be a part of the noise. Had I and that's the thing is that like the difference between me and my sister's coaching is very structured. My coaching is very situational and unstructured. In order to produce really good content and to produce a great podcast, it requires structure. And without that structure, you do not rise above the noise. I am at a point in my life where part of the freedom that I value so much is freedom from structure. And I'm not going to force myself into structure if it's not necessary. And the podcast is not necessary for the success of Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies. And I don't want to be a part of the noise. I don't want to contribute to that white noise. That doesn't say that I want to shut down the podcast. When we do interviews like this, it's great to post to the podcast. If I am fortunate enough to be invited to other people's podcasts where they have successfully been able to rise above the noise, if I'm interviewed on their podcast, I can turn around and repurpose it by posting it on my podcast. But am I going to put the effort into creating the structure to try to make the Julius Files rise above the noise? No, I don't think that I am, because I have gotten a lot more focused on directing my time and attention to what is the highest value things for my time and for all of you as my team. And I have been making sure that the time that I'm mentally able to focus, that it is being focused on the highest value thing, because my future is important, and providing for all of you is important. And I look back at all of the time that I wasted with Vickers. I look back at all of the time I wasted with social media, personal branding. These things are not necessary to grow what is most important, which is the Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies opportunity. Having a camera around and being like, I am the content, just record, and whatever it picks up, and then turn it over to you and let you extract the nuggets out of it and purpose it into useful social media. I understand that. I get that. I want to participate in that. But I really have had to start focusing on what is most important and what brings the most value, and where is my time going to be contributed to bring the most value. And the podcast was a pet project, and I committed to doing 100 episodes, and I did 100 episodes. And there are a half dozen podcasts that I consume every day because I am a sponge for information. And these people are truly passionate about podcasting to the point that they are paying attention to all of the MSM news channels and looking at how they are structuring and how they are producing a regular show. And they are putting all of their efforts into producing a great podcast. That's not me. That requires structure in an area that is not a necessity for me. And if I devoted more time to creating structure in that area, it would rob me of freedom. And I am becoming very protective of my time and my freedom, and knowing there are certain things that I still have to do because it's necessary for the greater good of all of us. Podcast just isn't one of those things.
I totally understand that, and I know also that you care about social media. You spend a lot in this side, and we have already a team that in-house that do our social media. Are you going to invest the time for the podcast, making videos or making things for the franchise and the brands?
Yeah, no, well, and again, I'm trying to stack. You are going to be able to pull most of everything that we need for franchising out of these interviews, and specifically out of the interview that I do with Matt, because Matt is making sure that he is working questions in that are directly for repurposing for the franchising and the Double J franchising website. It's not to say that I'm not willing to produce specific videos that speak to certain topics that we're not able to pick up out of an interview format. I'll do what's necessary, Alaa. I have always been willing to do what's necessary. But when it comes to protecting my time and my energy for my quality of life, I have things that I want, and I have things that I want to do with my time. And because I have taken on pet projects to find out if I have a passion for it, I'm finding out that I don't have a passion for it. So I'm trying to discard those things so that I do what's necessary, but I still have the time to do what I'm passionate about. And it's oddly like I'm passionate about like thought. I'm passionate about having thoughtful, mind-bending conversations with people. And I see ways for that to occur. But I also know the more successful the Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies brands are, the more the people that I'm really intrigued by will reach out to me and want to have that conversation. It's one of those where I'm not trying to force it. I'm doing what's necessary. And I think that we're extracting good pieces. Is it great? No, it's not great. But it's the reason it's not great from my perspective is because I'm not passionate about it. I'm passionate about existing and living and experiencing reality. And I feel like all of this is for the purpose of a virtual world that I personally couldn't give a shit about. I just understand that it's necessary to do business, to be in business. The other side of it, though, I could find passion in it if there were more people that what I was saying was resonating with them. And here's the sad truth. The vast majority of people want smoke blown up their ass. They want to be told, rah, rah, you can do it. Like the riches are just waiting for you. All you got to do is just step off this cliff. I am a realist and I'm speaking truth, and truth is the highest vibration. And that doesn't resonate with people because the vast majority of people want to operate and live in a negative vibration environment. And they want to believe that it's easy and they're victims and they're just being screwed out of their fair share. I don't resonate with the vast majority of people because the vast majority of people want to be lied to, and they want it politically correct, and they want handouts. They want to just be given everything so that they can go sit down and be like, man, I worked for that. No, you didn't. You didn't work for shit. And most people don't want to hear that.
That's why you wrote a book. I need to know how is that going with you.
Okay, so to be very candid, the book is written. I have done nothing with the book because in order for me, I wrote the book generally for two reasons. For my own mental personal benefit, meaning if it's never published, I got mentally what I needed out of it by putting all of those thoughts to words and writing an actual book. That said, I'm not willing to self-publish a book just to say I'm a published author. There is a right way and a wrong way to go about publishing a book so that it has the ability to be brought to the attention of the masses. And in order to do that, you have to be able to spend money. And I have money going 20 different directions, and there's not the extra money right now for me to devote to the publication of that book. And I'm not going to publish the book and then have nobody read it because I didn't publish the book the right way.
Can I ask you more last question?
Alaa, we just haven't had a hot minute to visit here lately, but again, you consume all of the raw content, and I'm an open book. Love me or hate me, I am the same person in any environment. You either accept me or you don't, and I'm okay with either outcome. Brother, I will take the time to answer any and every question you have.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. My last question, how do you see Scared Rabbit and Vickers in the next 5 years? I know nothing is predictable, but what's your vision about them?
Candidly, Trish has more to do with that than I do. My focus is franchising Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies. And I know that that will create a large constant revenue stream for Vickers and Scared Rabbit. So that will give Vickers and Scared Rabbit the revenue that it needs to constantly reinvest in itself and continue to develop and grow. But Scared Rabbit and Vickers, that's Trisha's baby. That's your baby. If I take the mental space to directly focus on those brands, then I'm not going to focus on Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies, and they're capable of being the blood of that fuels the existence and the growth potential of Scared Rabbit and Vickers, because every store that opens has to buy apparel from Vickers. Every store that opens has to pay into a national ad campaign that is managed by Scared Rabbit. If I open 100 stores, then that means Scared Rabbit now has $1 million a year to hire the best of the best to surround you and Trish with qualified people to produce the best graphics and the best digital marketing that money can buy. If I open 100 stores, then that means thousands of employees that have to have work uniforms and marketing opportunities that need promotional products that can all come out of Vickers. So I feel like the highest value thing I can do for Scared Rabbit and Vickers is put ambitious, qualified people in leadership positions and then grow the Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies brands, because I know that is a revenue source for those two brands that will serve them well. At this point, when it comes to Scared Rabbit and Vickers, it is making sure initiatives are being followed through on, making sure that I am able to provide the tools that are needed for the businesses to sustain and grow. But if I took the time to get in the middle of your job, or I took the time to get in the middle of Trisha's job, I would be micromanaging you, and I would be taking focus away from the highest value thing that I can do to contribute to the business. And part of that highest value thing is being here as a coach, as a sounding board, as a reference when you guys have questions, just simply because I have more business experience in general.
Thank you very
Any
much.
other thoughts? I still know very little about your culture, but after 3 years with you, I mean, my opinion is that I'm fortunate enough that I'm working with the best of what your culture has to offer, which means you are capable of working for anyone or working anywhere. Why do you choose to work for me?
Honestly, sir, first of all, I want to appreciate this very great testimonial. It's an honor to me that you are saying that. And I have worked with many entrepreneurs before I work with you. And as I said before, I truly believed in your story and believed in your dream to make a great franchise. And as you are always saying, everyone needs to be part of something bigger than himself. The team and the culture that you are building in the business environment was actually the reason, or one of the reasons, that I want to give all my best to this business to achieve the dream for the franchise. And I believe that we can do this because we have a really great product and we have really great team that working very hard for this, and being in an environment and culture that helps you to give all what you can without limitation. And also, I know we are like 7,000 miles away from each other, but You give me a really great trust, and I really appreciate this trust. I don't know if I can give it back to you in the work that I do. I always look to do more and give you more, because the knowledge and the wisdom I'm taking and the position you are giving to us is really great. I can't thank you enough for that. I hope that I can give you more as I can.
Thank you. I, because that's, I mean, there's just there has been a lot of development and growth on both sides of this, and I say that because from time to time I will get into the social media just to look around, and I've seen growth from you. Um, it's evident in the graphical representation of the brands. It's evident in the video editing and production quality, and then that's where I come back to the. I mean, I would because the other question I've been asking people is why should they patronize our brands? But I mean, you summarized it in your answer to the previous, because I just believe that if you focus on quality and service, you're going to buy yourself grace, because none of us are perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have growing pains. But if you truly focus on the quality and the service to the customers, to the team, to the family, that when mistakes happen, the grace is given to rebound and continue to develop and grow. Um, then I think that you've seen that over the last couple of years. The
Yes.
fortunate side for you is that by being 7,000 miles away, you've probably been able to avoid being involved and mixed up in a lot of the drama that comes out of the family side of it.
Yeah, make me jealous.
No, don't be jealous. Don't envy. You don't. The I knew when I decided to build a business that was predominantly women, that feelings would be involved, and that drama would be a topic that would constantly rear its ugly head. It's created some tough times, but if it wasn't that, it would have been a bunch of egos, and those egos would have created their own drama and tough times.
I have to say something about that, but if you want to be part of something, you have to test the good and the bad things, and I'm willing to test the both and be with you in any case. You and Trish and Matt and Skylar and everyone of the team.
And my thing is, I really do believe that everything happens for a reason, and people enter your lives for reasons. Is it to teach you a lesson, or is it to add to your life? Because not all encounters and all relationships are great, fruitful relationships. But I mean, because don't get me wrong, I've worked with a couple video editors, and working with them was painful. It taught me what I didn't want. So when I started working with you, it made me appreciate you, because it was like, well, he's not giving me these bad things, and he has a desire to learn and grow, and he appreciates being a part of the team. Okay, then now you are the relationship with you is literally adding to my life.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
No, for the people listening this, I'm begging Mr. Jason to give me a good lighting for the videos. So so if you are watching this and you find the quality not the best, write in the comments for him.
I get for the people watching this, and I mean, and I touched on it before. Alaa lives in Egypt. And I am very fortunate to have him as a part of my team. And it's one of those, if you'd have told me 5 or 10 years ago that I was going to be grateful to have a relationship with an Egyptian man that was part of my team, again, probably wouldn't have saw that coming, probably would have laughed at you. Times change, people change. Very grateful for the relationship. And it's like, I'm saying that, because I think that everybody feels a certain amount of patriotism to the land and the country that is their home. And initially, I just rejected globalism on its face. I didn't. It didn't resonate with me. I didn't understand it. I didn't see value. With the age of the internet and the ability to connect, then it truly did, in my belief of meritocracy, did come down to borders shouldn't matter when it comes to value and relationships and who's the best person for the job. I changed. I saw things through a different lens, and I'm very happy that I did, because I feel very fortunate to have the relationship with you that I do. And I'm saying it like that because had I been what most people are, which is very close-minded and this is the way I feel, and I'm going to make sure that I feel that way for the rest of my life, they don't leave themselves open to fresh perspective. They don't leave themselves open to developing relationships with people that they would have never saw themselves developing relationships with. I'm grateful.
I'm grateful too. I can't be thankful enough for everything, and even it's 7,000 miles, but I didn't feel the distance. I always feel that I'm close to everyone here.
Yeah. Oh no. And that my thing is, I see it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to bring you here at some point to create an experience. It's an opportunity for me to come visit you at some point to create an experience. Because that is my thing, is that I have become so much less concerned with possessions and more concerned with creating and experiencing. So yeah, no, I don't see it as a roadblock or a divide. I see it as an opportunity to create experience.
Sure. I have to come to test all of the pizzas and the coffee.
Absolutely.
And to meet you in person, of course, yeah. The first thing. And we will be so proud when you come here to visit Egypt and the pyramids and all the history that we have.
I absolutely look forward to it. I know that when I do eventually get out there, that I need to plan on coming out there for a month, not a week. I've done enough research to know that I cannot possibly see and experience, truly experience in a week. That I will need to come out there and spend a month out there.
I will make the schedule for you and make everything ready. Just decide when the time comes. I will be ready for it.
Very good. All right, brother. Yeah, that I would say that about wraps it up. Thank you for participating in this. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much for the opportunity again, and for everything you're doing to us.
All I do is just get up every day and continue to try and take a step forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not easy thing. So thank you.
All right. Well, until next time, Have a great day. Powered by coffee junkies and pizza junkies.